Most men spend their entire lives chasing one defining moment, one role, one breakthrough, one decision that finally makes everything click. Tom Selleck had several of those moments, and he walked away from most of them on purpose. He said no to Indiana Jones. He said no to Baywatch. He ignored the advice of his own agents, took a sitcom role nobody thought suited him, and earned an Emmy nomination for it. He broke no contracts, bent no rules, and never once let the machine of Hollywood shape him into something he wasn't. And after 5 decades, hundreds of episodes, and a career that outlasted nearly every trend that rose and fell around him, the man is still standing, unhurried, unbroken, and completely himself. That is either the story of extraordinary luck or extraordinary character. The more you learn about Tom Selleck, the more obvious it becomes which one it actually is. Thomas William Selleck was born on January 29, 1945, in Detroit, Michigan, to Martha and Robert Dean Selleck. His father was an executive real estate investor, and his mother managed the home. Tom had an older brother named Robert, a younger sister named Martha, and a younger brother named Daniel. When Tom was just 3 years old, the family relocated to Sherman Oaks, California, where he would spend his formative years growing up under the warm sun of the San Fernando Valley. It was a quiet upbringing, grounded and ordinary in the best possible way, the kind that builds character before ambition ever gets a chance to corrupt it. He attended Grant High School before enrolling at Los Angeles Valley College, where he was already a towering 6'4" figure who turned heads wherever he went. Rather than letting his physical presence go to waste, Selleck transferred to the University of Southern California, where he joined the Trojan men's basketball team during his junior year. Basketball wasn't the only sport he excelled in. He also played as both pitcher and designated hitter for USC's baseball team, making him one of the more versatile athletes on campus. On top of that, he was a member of the Sigma Chi fraternity and the Trojan Knights. It was his drama coach who first nudged him toward the stage, suggesting he try acting while he was still pursuing a degree in business administration. That suggestion lit something in him that no other experience had managed to ignite. Selleck dropped his degree in his senior year and enrolled at the Beverly Hills Playhouse, where he trained under the direction of Milton Katselas, a Greek director and producer whose tutelage helped sharpen a raw talent that would eventually capture millions of viewers worldwide. But before any of that could fully blossom, life intervened in the way it does for young American men of that generation. Selleck received a draft notice during the Vietnam War and answered it without hesitation. He joined the National Coast Guard and served in the 160th Infantry Regiment for 6 years, from 1967 to 1973. While still fulfilling his military duties in the final 2 years of service, he quietly began carving out space for himself in the entertainment world, appearing in small roles and laying the groundwork for what was to come. His very first television appearance was on The Dating Game as a college senior in 1965 and again in 1967. From there, Selleck picked up commercial work and modeling gigs, becoming the face of Pepsi-Cola and one of Revlon's colognes. These weren't mere footnotes. They were the stepping stones that kept him financially afloat while he pursued the craft he truly cared about. For years, Tom Selleck was showing up in America's living rooms through commercials before a single person knew his name, and somehow he kept going. Selleck made his film debut in the American comedy Myra Breckinridge, invited onto the set by the legendary Mae West herself. From there came a string of smaller roles, including a recurring role as a private investigator in the Rockford Files throughout the 1970s, and the American mystery thriller Coma in 1978. His first starring role came in 1972 with the horror picture Daughters of Satan. He also leaned into roles that suited his rugged outdoorsman energy, appearing in 5 Western films: The Sacketts, Concrete Cowboys, The Shadow Riders, Quigley Down Under, and Last Stand at Saber River, the last of which earned him the Western Heritage Award in 1997. Despite this growing body of work, Mainstream stardom still hadn't arrived. Selleck filmed 6 TV pilots that went nowhere, sitting on shelves and collecting dust. 6. Most people would have read the writing on the wall and walked away. He didn't. And then came Magnum P.I. Thomas Magnum was unlike anything television had seen at the time. A former Navy SEAL who left behind the structure of military life to become a private investigator in Hawaii, trading combat boots for a Hawaiian shirt, military vehicles for a Ferrari 308 GTS, and the gravity of war for the sunshine of Honolulu. Sharp, witty, deeply human, and always sporting that iconic mustache and Detroit Tigers cap, Magnum was the kind of character who felt both aspirational and completely real. The show ran for 8 seasons, from 1980 to 1988, and by the time it ended, it had cemented itself as one of the top-rated one-hour shows in rerun history. Years later, Selleck admitted that he had hoped producers would call him about a proper Magnum film, something that would pick up right where the series left off, with Magnum returning to the Navy and reclaiming his identity as an officer. No one ever called. In a candid interview, Selleck said a true Magnum film shouldn't be a reunion show about how everyone aged. It should tell the audience what happened in the years in between. What most people don't know is that Magnum P.I. almost didn't happen, at least not with Selleck in it, because George Lucas had already chosen him as his first pick to play Indiana Jones. The offer was real, but the contracts for Magnum were already signed, and Selleck wasn't the kind of man to break his word. Harrison Ford took the role, and history wrote itself accordingly. When asked about it years later, Selleck was characteristically direct. He made a deal with Magnum, and it was the best thing that ever happened to him. He said he had to be able to look his parents in the eye, and they didn't do things that way. There was also a second iconic role that Selleck walked away from. Mitch Buchanan, the lead lifeguard of the wildly popular series Baywatch. The role ultimately went to David Hasselhoff, and Selleck's reason for declining was simple. He didn't want to be seen as a sex symbol. That kind of self-awareness, the ability to say no to fame in order to protect your identity, is far rarer in Hollywood than any trophy on a shelf. Between his major television runs, Selleck made a move that surprised many. He stepped into the world of sitcoms, joining the cast of Friends during its second season as Richard Burke, the charming and emotionally complicated older boyfriend of Monica. Burke was a divorced ophthalmologist and a friend of Monica's parents, and the age difference between the two characters added both warmth and tension to their storyline. His character left a lasting impression despite appearing in only 6 episodes. Selleck's own agents had strongly advised him against taking the role. He took it anyway. The result was an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series in 2000, proof that his instincts were sharper than any career advice he was being handed. In 2005, he took on the character of Jesse Stone, a transplanted lawman in a series of TV movies based on Robert B. Parker's novels. The series ran across 9 installments, and Selleck wasn't content with just playing the lead. He also served as producer. By the 5th installment, Jesse Stone, Thin Ice, he had added writer to his list of credits, crafting an original story that resonated with the show's dedicated fan base. Then, in 2007, he joined the NBC drama Las Vegas in its 5th season, stepping into the role of A.J. Cooper, the new owner of the Montecito Casino, his first regular drama role since Magnum. On the personal side of his life, Selleck first married actress and model Jacqueline Ray in 1971. He adopted her son Kevin, who later became the drummer for the American rock band Tonic. That marriage lasted 11 years before ending in 1982. On August 7, 1987, Selleck married Jilly Joan Mack, and together they welcomed a daughter, Hannah, born on December 16, 1988. Hannah grew up to become a successful equestrian, a passion nurtured on the couple's sprawling 65-acre ranch in the Thousand Oaks and West Lake Village area of California, a property said to have previously belonged to the legendary Dean Martin. His life away from the camera is every bit as full as his life in front of it. He played beach volleyball at a competitive level, once serving as outside hitter for the Outrigger Canoe Club in Honolulu during the Magnum years. Baseball connected him even more deeply. He became a minority owner of the Detroit Tigers, the team he had idolized since childhood. When cast in the 1992 film Mr. Baseball, he used that ownership connection to train with the team during spring training, spending 3 weeks in batting practice before making an exhibition appearance against the Cincinnati Reds. Manager Sparky Anderson called him up as a pinch hitter. Selleck fouled off 3 pitches and struck out, but walked away with something no acting class could have given him. His recognition extends well beyond the entertainment world. He received an honorary doctorate from Pepperdine University in 2000, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1986, and the Golden Plate Award from the American Academy of Achievement in 1989. He has also been actively involved with the Josephson Institute of Ethics, a commitment that reflects the same principles he has lived by throughout his entire career. For 13 seasons, Selleck brought Frank Reagan to life on Blue Bloods, the unyielding New York police commissioner who leads his family with the same authority he brings to the city he has sworn to protect. When CBS announced the show's end, Selleck released a statement that said everything it needed to say without a word of excess. He called it an honor and a privilege, acknowledged the cast, crew, writers, directors, and producers, and expressed heartfelt gratitude to the fans who gathered for dinner every Friday night for over 275 episodes. In an interview with TV Insider, he spoke about what he was most proud of, portraying a genuinely strong father figure at a time when that image had nearly vanished from television screens. He noted that in most shows and commercials, the father is the idiot. That was never Frank Reagan, and Selleck believed that the alternative mattered more than most people realized. He also spoke about what made the show truly work. The Reagan family dinner, a scene that ran to 8 pages in the original script, was shown to Selleck by executive producer Leonard Goldberg, who said it would be the centerpiece of the series. Selleck assumed it would be cut for being too long. It wasn't. For 13 years, it remained the scene viewers talked about more than any chase, any courtroom, or any confrontation. A table full of people disagreeing with love. It turned out to be the most powerful thing the show ever put on screen. Despite everything pointing toward a graceful exit, the ranch, the farm, the family, the decades of work behind him, Selleck expressed no urgency to stop. He told interviewers plainly that he loves the work, that it's harder now than it once was, but that he wants to keep going as long as anyone will have him. His character Frank Reagan wasn't ready to retire either, a man who keeps carrying the weight because his sense of responsibility simply refuses to let go. Before the curtain fully drops, one more chapter awaits. Selleck has a memoir scheduled for release on May 7th titled, You Never Know. In it, he walks readers through his life from his California roots and college years to the height of his fame and everything that came with it. He opens up about victories and the less comfortable moments, the challenges, the temptations, and the choices that weren't always easy. He takes readers inside the creation of the Magnum character that changed everything and speaks about his real-life friendships with Frank Sinatra, Carol Burnett, and Sam Elliott, relationships that shaped the man just as much as any role ever did.